Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Insurance Explained with Andrew Perlin. I have been in the insurance business now for more than 30 years, and I have seen thousands of policies. I've seen thousands of claims. I've seen families who were properly protected when things went wrong. And unfortunately, I've seen what happens when people find out too late that they weren't properly insured. So I thought I'd answer a pretty simple question today, and that is, if I had to start from scratch today and protect my entire family, which insurance policies would I buy first? And my list has four policies on there: auto insurance, disability income insurance, life insurance, and umbrella liability insurance. And I'm not choosing them because they are the four policies that everyone is supposed to have. I'm choosing them because of what 30 years in this business has taught me about the risks that can change a family's financial life forever. All right, let's talk about the first one, auto insurance. That's pretty obvious, right? If you drive a car, you own a car, you have to have auto insurance. Most states require it anyway. But the 30-year lesson simply isn't just buying auto insurance. It is, don't confuse having insurance with having enough insurance. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen over the years is people carrying liability limits that are way too low. And the explanation I hear all the time is something like, Andrew, I don't have that much money. I don't have a lot of assets. Why do I need all this insurance? What are they going to take from me? But a serious accident doesn't care how much money you have sitting in your checking account. Right? If you are responsible for seriously injuring somebody, the financial consequences can be significant. So if I'm buying an auto policy for my family, I'm not asking what's the cheapest policy I can get. I'm asking, if something really bad happened, do I have enough protection? That's the lesson over 30 years. Having insurance and being properly insured are not necessarily the same thing. The second policy that I would have is disability income insurance. And this may be a surprise to a lot of people. If I'm working and earning an income, disability coverage is an absolute must on my list. Why, you ask? Because your biggest asset probably isn't your house, and it might not even be your retirement account. Your biggest asset is your ability to earn an income. After 30 years, I've heard three big misconceptions about disability insurance, and I hear them over and over again. And the first one is, my employer gives me disability insurance, so I'm good. Yeah, maybe you are. But have you looked at it lately? Do you know what it actually pays? Do you know how long it will pay? Is it a taxable benefit? Is it not a taxable benefit? And will that amount actually be enough to support your family? Most people think they're covered, but perhaps they're not. The second big misconception is that disability is mostly about accidents. Young people think they're invincible and they're never going to get into an accident, so they don't need it. So people picture some terrible accidents. Maybe you get hurt skiing, or you're in a car accident, or something happens that you can't work, right? But believe it or not, most disability claims are filed because of illness rather than accident. Okay, so if you're young, you might not think you're going to get into an accident, and I get that, but you still may become sick and can't work, which is the majority of disability claims to begin with. So that's a big misconception. I've seen young people, unfortunately, become disabled and can't work for a significant period of time, and had nothing to do with a bad day behind the wheel. And the third one I see, especially with young people, is, I'm young. If something happens, I'll recover. And what I mean by that is financially. Like, I've got 20, 30, 40 years ahead of me. I'll just recoup it. Like, it's no big deal. I'll be okay. And hopefully you will. But what happens financially during the next 6 months, 12 months, or maybe even 2 years while you're recovering? How much money are you losing? Not only because you don't have income coming in to pay your bills, but how much money are you losing because you're not putting money into your retirement plan, or you're racking up credit card debts at 20% interest, or things like that? So the 30-year lesson here is, your income deserves protection because almost everything else in your financial life depends on it. Disability insurance is important. The third one I would focus on is life insurance. No question in my mind, this is a big one. Okay. I've heard just about every reason imaginable for not buying life insurance. It's too expensive. I will outlive it, so I'll never use it. And my employer already gives me life insurance. And one of my favorites is basically, I don't want to leave so much money behind that my family has a better life without me. Like, really? All right. That's not the goal of life insurance, by the way. The goal isn't to make your family rich because you died. The goal is to make sure that your death doesn't create a second tragedy, a financial one. I've heard people say, but if I buy term insurance and outlive the term, I wasted all that money. No, you won. You're still alive. That's the whole point. We don't buy life insurance hoping something happens. We buy life insurance because during certain stages of our lives, other people may depend on the income that we produce. And before you decide life insurance is too expensive, find out exactly how much it's going to cost. Take an application, go through underwriting. You may be surprised how cost effective it really is. Don't reject something based on a number you haven't even seen yet. And while we're on the topic of life insurance, there are policies out there that actually you can use while you're still alive. So don't just basically say it's life insurance and I'm going to outlive it. So what's the point? There are ways that you can use life insurance inside of your financial plan to make everything that you do better. The 30-year lesson is this: life insurance really isn't about you. It's about the people whose financial lives would change if you weren't there. Okay. And finally, the last one I would buy is umbrella liability insurance. This is probably the least understood policy on my list. People tell me all the time, Andrew, I don't have $1 million. Why do I need $1 million umbrella policy? But that's looking at liability the wrong way. Your liability exposure isn't necessarily limited to the assets that you have today. Think about a serious auto accident where someone is badly injured. Think about someone being seriously injured on your property. Think about a household with a teenage driver. These are situations where liability limits on your underlying home and auto policy simply might not be enough. An umbrella policy provides another layer of protection above those policies. After 30 years, I have learned that catastrophic claims do not happen every day. Okay, I will admit that. But when they do happen, they're called catastrophic for a reason. And here's something I think people misunderstand. You don't get sued based on how much money you have. You get sued based on how much damage you cause. That's an important distinction. So the 30-year lesson here is simple. Don't assume you don't need significant liability protection just because you don't consider yourself to be wealthy. So those are the four policies I put near the top of my list if I was trying to protect my family today: auto, disability, life, and umbrella. But the bigger lesson isn't that everyone listening to this should run out tomorrow and buy these exact four policies. You know, your age matters, your family matters, your income matters, your asset, your debt, your job benefits, the stage of life all matter. For example, at a different stage of life, long-term care insurance may absolutely replace disability insurance on my personal list. That's really what 30 years in the insurance business has taught me. Your insurance shouldn't stay the same while your life changes. So don't just ask, do I have insurance? I mean, that's an easy one, right? I'd rather you ask this: does the insurance I have still match the life I'm living? Over the next several episodes of Insurance Explained, I'm going to take some of these individual policies along with some other insurance decisions and look at them through a 30-year lens. What have I seen? What do people commonly misunderstand? What mistakes do I see over and over again? And what do I wish more families knew before something happened? Because after more than 30 years of doing this, that's really what I want this show to be about. Not simply explaining insurance policies. I want to help people understand how the decisions you make today can protect the life you're trying to build tomorrow. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us grow, and you'll be notified whenever there's a new episode out. And if you know somebody who could benefit from hearing this, please share the episode with them. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments below. Of these four policies, which one do you think is the most overlooked? Auto, disability, life, or umbrella? Or is there an insurance question that you'd like me to cover in future episodes? Put that in the comment as well. Hey, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. My name is Andrew Perlin. This is Insurance Explained. And until next time, remember, maximize today, protect tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.